Hello and welcome. I'm Michelle Anderson, the founder of Clarinet Mentors. Today, I want to let you know about a problem that might be existing on your clarinet that's making it harder for you to play, and it's a really easy one to fix. I've been out doing a bunch of workshops in schools lately, and I encountered 3 students in the last couple of weeks who all had this problem. What they experienced was their clarinet squeaked a lot, it felt really resistant, really hard to play. It was as if their reeds suddenly got stiffer. And on first glance, all of the keys on their clarinet seem to be working just fine. So this particularly happens when the weather gets really dry and perhaps in wintertime when the furnace is running a lot. And what sometimes happens is the corks on your clarinet might get a little bit dry and compressed. And what you might find is that your barrel or bell or mouthpiece, especially on the top here, no longer fits securely. I put on an old barrel here that's a little big for this clarinet. See how wobbly that is? Now, as it turns out, it doesn't cause me much trouble on this clarinet, even though it should. But this is the problem that a lot of people were having when these corks get loose, and it can be just a little bit of a wobble. Sometimes we get air leaking out, and it's almost the same effect as when we have our fingers not covering the holes all the way. You probably remember when you were first learning how to play clarinet, there were times where notes just wouldn't come out. For example, if I'm trying to go from D to C and my finger's not coming down all the way, I get this kind of effect. It's just that, feels resistant, feels hard to play. Well, this is what people were experiencing on every note. So the things that you want to look for is that every single note on the clarinet seems to be affected. If the instrument's leaking here or here, it is going to affect everything. Usually, just by feeling it, now you can see the wobble I have here. That barrel's not fitting properly. We can get a sense of it. If you want to check to see if that is the problem, what we need to do is create a tighter seal here. And there's a really good quick fix for it. Simply take a little piece of paper and cut yourself a strip of paper about the same size as your cork. So in this case, I just cut a strip of plain paper. I'm going to wrap it around the cork. Now, if you get it wet first, it might stick better. It doesn't have to be pretty, just enough to make that seal tighter. Now, this isn't so wobbly. It's still a little wobbly, so I might actually need 2 pieces of paper, but I would try playing again. Oh, wow, now this feels a lot freer blowing than it did when it was leaking. I might put a second piece of paper in. You want to sort of stuff that crack until there's no more give in there. And if that was the thing that was causing the trouble on your instrument, it's going to work better instantly. Now, the paper is a great way to test it, and in fact, that will get you through a rehearsal. There's a little piece of repair equipment I recommend you always have in your case. This is plumber's tape. Got it at a hardware store for under $2, and it's made out of Teflon, I believe. It's not sticky when I touch it, but it sticks to itself. And let's say that was the barrel that I was using. Instead of the paper, I can take a piece of this tape, which is very inexpensive, fits in my clarinet case, and simply wrap it around that cork, trying to keep it flat. And I would just start with 1 piece. Suddenly, it's as though I'm making my cork thicker. And you never know when something bad's going to happen to your cork in the middle of a concert or a rehearsal, and you need it to be thicker. So now that I've wrapped that, this works even better than the paper, and that little piece of Teflon tape would probably get me through a week until I could maybe get it into the repair shop and have a proper cork installed, which is ultimately what you want to do. That works even better than my piece of paper did. So the paper is more of a diagnostic test. It'll sort of help you figure out if that's the thing that's been causing your clarinet not to work. So again, the symptoms are it feels really resistant, you might be getting squeaks, your sound is airy and fuzzy, and almost every single note on the clarinet is affected. Now, sometimes the problem might be in your middle joint here, similar problem. Then you would find that your left-hand notes work pretty well, but your right-hand notes have the trouble. So again, we'd look for wobbles there, put some paper around the cork. It's very easy to fix if you know that that's the problem. The challenge is most people just assume they're suddenly a bad clarinet player. They're like, yeah, last week I could play clarinet, this week I suck. And you don't want to do that. That's a common problem we have. So just having watched this short video, put that in your memory banks. If ever your clarinet suddenly seems not to work, it's a really easy thing to check and to fix. Hey, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have any of your own sort of homemade clarinet pointers, please fill them in the comments box underneath this video. Or if you have any questions about clarinet playing in general, I love interacting with you and other clarinet players around the world. And I have an invitation for you. If you're not a member of my Clarinet Mentors community, I'd love you to join in. It's totally free to join. You simply go to www.learnclarinetnow.com to sign up. And once you're in my community, I send out a newsletter about every 3 weeks with an educational video like today's, and also my favorite recommendations of music and clarinet gadgets, things that we're all interested in, and that I'm always trying to find new stuff that I think would be of value to you. So I hope you join me there. Thanks for watching today's video.